In this video, I'm going to cover the numbers for Oceans One Resort right back behind me. Now, I happen to have stumbled into last night two of the best oceanfront condo investment deals I have ever found in our MLS. Yes, I found a unit that made $109,000 in gross rental income right there at the Oceans One Resort. And I'm going to cover those numbers with you now. There's only two of those units on the market, and I've got an investor today around 5 o'clock making an offer on one of them. If you're interested, give me a call. It's 843-360-1737. Now, be sure to watch this video all the way through the end so that you don't make an investment flop, so that you don't have an investment failure, especially if you're a first-time investor and you're just learning the ropes. The last thing that you want to do is purchase an oceanfront condo that is not a savvy investment, that has too much risk, you don't know what you're doing, and you have a flop on your first go, which is going to stifle your finances. It's going to slow your investment process down for building wealth. It's going to set you back, and you might not even end up in the business altogether because you just didn't make a savvy investment decision when you were first getting started. Now, I talk to investors all the time, guys, who call me and they go, I want to start small. It's less risk. It is not less risk. We're going to get into some of those reasons in just a minute. I'm going to walk you through why buying bigger is better when it comes to oceanfront condos. So be sure to watch this video through to the end. Let's get into the video now. All right, guys, so let's go through some of those numbers right here for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom at the Oceans One Resort. Now, I've got your purchase price at $505,000. I've got your down payment at 25%, which is $126,250. I've got, now, just real quick, we do have 15% down programs, 20% down programs, and 25% down programs, depending upon how you qualify. So get in contact with me if you want to get a hold of my lender, 843-360-1737. Now, your Airbnb platform fee is $3,277.44. That is 3% of that gross rental income number, that $109,248. If you take that $3,277.44 from the $109,248, guys, we have a subtotal of $105,970.62. All that being said, your principal and interest is $34,140. That is assuming an 8.25% interest rate at 30 years fixed rate mortgage. Your taxes on this property, $4,740.77. Your cleaning services, $6,000. That's 30 cleanings at $200 per cleaning. It could be less, it could be more. Your first 2 years, it's most likely going to be more because you're going to allow for shorter stays so that you can get many online reviews. After that first 2 years, yes, you're probably going to make that 1 week minimum stay like many people do in our market, which is going to lower your cleaning cost. Now, your excise tax was $787. That is a $145 base fee for your first $2,000 you make in gross rental income, followed by $6 per $1,000 you make in gross rental income after that. Now, all that being said, guys, that's for your Myrtle Beach, that's your City of Myrtle Beach business license to own and operate a short-term vacation rental business in our market. Now, local hospitality and accommodations tax, that's a 3% of the gross rental income figure. 1.5% goes to Horry County, 1.5% to the City of Myrtle Beach. That's for a total of $3,277.44. Your annualized HOA dues, your HOA fees are higher here. I love it. All you first-time investors just cringe when I say $27,336. Yes, they cringe. But those same HOA dues are why guests are spending $109,000 to stay at that unit. In my opinion, that unit can make $140,000. I watched Yvonne, a client of mine, pick up a unit that was a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom It made $104,000 before she got a hold of it. She remodeled it, and she cleared she brought in $140,000 in 12 months. The point is that those HOA dues are what keep the property values high, which you'll see in just a moment once we cover your appreciation. But they keep the property values up, keep the property values high. They protect you. They hold the people there accountable. They keep the maintenance up on the property. The HOA is a good thing. It is protecting your investment. First-time investors cringe at the HOA dues. I always say to them, who cares about the HOA dues? If you've got a unit making $109,000 and you're clearing after all that bottom subtotal, $76,281.21, if you take that $76,000 from the $105,970 up top, guys, you're left with $29,689.41 in profit. That's just annual profits. That doesn't even count the appreciation on the deal. So who cares how much the HOA fee is? I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can enjoy and increase the passive income of your oceanfront condo through the 20 to 22 million tourists that visit the #2 vacation destination on the East Coast each year. Not only can you enjoy the equity paid for by visiting tourists, but you can also anticipate the over 100% appreciation experience at many of the oceanfront resorts in our market during the recent decade. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can depreciate them, reducing your overall tax burden, keeping more money for you and your loved ones, and ensuring unnecessary taxes aren't paid. All right, guys, so let's work through your appreciation right here for your average 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo at the Oceans One Resort. Now, back in 2015, if you'd have purchased a condo, it was $252,900. Fast forward to 2023, our last sale on record, that average price at $510,000. Guys, we're talking $257,100. That's a lot of appreciation. We're talking $32,138 per year. So put this into perspective. Not only are you making $29,000 a year in annual profits, the property's also appreciating to the tune of $32,000. Where can you go and make $50,000 a year for a $500,000 investment? Come on. Now, not to mention your tax write-offs. We'll get into that in just a minute. All that said, guys, oceanfront condos are that sweet spot in the market that give you some of the upside of the stock market without all of the risk. They're better than long-term rentals. They make more money, have more upside. They're better than short-term rentals. Short-term rentals, you can buy a short-term rental a block off the beach and you can't rent it 12 months out of the year. But an oceanfront condo at the right resort can rent 12 months out of the year. So they're in a league of their own. They give you some of the reward, that upside of the stock market without all that risk. Get in contact with me so that I can help you make a savvy investment decision. It's 843-360-1737. On to depreciating this unit. Now, at a 505 purchase price over 27.5 years, your taxable income deduction is $18,363.64. Now, basically, guys, in so many words, you're making $29,000 in profit, but you're getting an income deduction of $18,000. So you're not having to pay taxes on all of that increase, on all of that money. Now, all that said, for all of you high income earners, you need to look into what's called a cost segregation study, where you accelerate depreciation. Basically, some of you high income earners could be writing off as much as $40,000 in a given year on an oceanfront condo. Doctors, lawyers, dentists, executives. If you're a high income earner, you need to be doing cost segregation studies and getting the taxable income deductions in keeping with your CPA's advanced tax strategies. If you need to get a hold of a CPA that specializes in a cost segregation study, give me a call. It's 843-360-1737. All right, guys, so let's cover what your HOA fee is going to include. It's going to include electric common, water and sewer, trash pickup, elevator service, pool service, landscape lawn, insurance, manager, security, rec facilities, legal and accounting, master antenna cable TV, common maintenance and repair, electric in the unit, telephone service in the unit, recycling, internet access, and pest control. You should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because this is the fastest growing area out of the 150 most populated areas in the entire United States for the last 3 years in a row, according to U.S. News and World Report. This helps to insulate our market from many of the ups and downs that the rest of our nation's real estate market experiences. This can help you have a more stable rental property. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because they have a tremendous upside when compared to money market accounts and the stock market, due to the appreciation they earn and the potential of higher annual yields through their gross rental income when compared to these other investments. Money market accounts and the stock market don't have the upside of added appreciation. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because while our prices have risen and have held their value, we're also much cheaper than other places like Florida. Where else can you go and find an oceanfront condo for as little as $100,000? If you're getting into the real estate game or expanding your current portfolio, the bang for your buck is sitting right on the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina oceanfront.